Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So basically today I'm going to be going over the most important blocks in my Afterlight mod I made a while ago, in other words like a few months. And I'm going to be going over blocks like crafting blocks and ores, and a few other miscellaneous blocks that have a lot of uses, maybe not so much important, but have a lot of uses and therefore are somewhat important in the mod when you are playing it. So yeah, let's get right into this. Alright, so first up we're going to be actually looking at a structure that contains quite a few blocks, and that's the reason why I'm going to be looking at it, the structure itself. And as you can see, it contains quite a lot of blocks such as these void rock tiles and bricks. And then there's also this ritual altar in the middle, which is quite useful for crafting things. As you can see, there's also these runes, which don't really have much use, but look pretty cool. And then there's also these pots, which can be smashed open to reveal lots of goodies. And then finally, there's this block, which allows you to set your spawn, and we'll look at that later. Alright, so first let's look at the ritual altar block. So, to really use this, you actually have to set the time to night, or if it's daytime that is, or you could just wait till night. So, if I put items into these slots here, then you can actually craft certain items. For example, if I put a ingot in the middle, and then these 4 crystals in these 4 outer slots, and then 2 crystals in those slots, then, and if I press OK of course, then I will create a new item. A similar process can be done when crafting a special item called the Wand of Moonlight, or rather Staff of Moonlight, which is its in-game name. This is a very important item because it's used as the portal igniter to the Afterlight Dimension. So next up we're going to be looking at the respawn anchor, which I mentioned earlier. So this block actually allows you to set your world spawn, not your spawn point like a bed does, but your world spawn. So if you die without having set your spawn at a bed, then you're actually going to spawn here instead of where you spawned in the world. So this actually requires you to collect a few crystals, so it's actually kind of hard to craft, but it's totally worth it if you want to set your world spawn. So next up we're going to be actually looking at an ore that is very important and actually spawns in the overworld, and these are moon crystal ore. So this yields the crystals that I was featuring in those recipes before in the ritual altar, so they're very important because they are actually required to get to the dimension, because you have to get these crystals to actually craft the items required to get the materials to craft the portal effectively. So delving into the Afterlight Dimension itself, I just want to really point out that, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not actually going to be going over every single block in the Afterlight Dimension because there's simply just way too many blocks to go over. There's also a lot of entities and stuff, so I'm going to be probably featuring those and biomes in a different video. So yeah, let's get right back into the blocks and let's take a little look at ores. Alright, so first up with ores, you have crystallium. Now this is a very common ore that spawns at basically all levels, and the tools and armor are about as good as iron, but have a little bit more like stone durability. So it's quite useful if you want some fast tools that mine very quickly, but have a low durability. Next up we're going to be looking at moonsteel, which is basically an ore that tools and armor are around equivalent to diamond, but lower durability, about half durability. Now next up we have Pearl Shard ore, which actually has the chance to drop a Pearl Shard that is basically an alternative to Ender Pearls. So this ore that we are going to be looking at next is called Lunarite. Now this ore is actually very important because it actually is the most powerful ore in the entire mod. So if you smelt this, you will actually get a new item called Lunarite Scrap, similarly to Netherite Scrap. And if you smelt it and turn it into ingots via Moonsteel and Lunarite Scrap, then you will get a Lunarite Ingot, which you can actually combine with Moonsteel items to craft Lunarite armor and tools, which, by the way, are extremely powerful and actually slightly better than Netherite. So there's actually a Afterlight variant of Moon Crystal ore, and you can actually craft these into Moon Crystal blocks, which emit a very high amount of light. So finally, we're actually going to be looking at a special block called the Purifier. Now the Purifier allows you to basically effectively purify certain Afterlight blocks into their overworld variants. So for example, I just turned Moonstone into stone. You can also do this with other materials such as items, like if you turn Lunarite into Netherite, and you can also do this for other materials such as, for example, if I grab Moonsteel ingots, for example, then perhaps I can make it into iron. So that's it for today, guys. I basically featured what I thought were the most important blocks in the Afterlight mod, and I'll probably be featuring the other elements in the Afterlight mod, such as biomes and mobs, as I mentioned earlier, in separate videos. So yeah, I'm probably going to look quite forward to the biomes one, since that is by far the coolest part about the Afterlight mod. So the blocks is just what kind of makes up the biomes, you know. So yeah, bye.